What is going on, everyone? It is me, the Lone Vault Wanderer, here making a video on the future of Fallout. I like doing these speculative discussion videos about once a week relating to different franchises. I do it with Borderlands, and I want to keep doing it with Fallout because people seem to like those videos, and also as well, I'm going away for the weekend, so I'm unable to produce relevant, timely news videos, even though I've been lacking in that department for the past couple of weeks. But regardless, I want to talk about Fallout, and if you want to talk about Fallout, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. The question for today's video is, how much do you think Bethesda Game Studios should experiment with the next Fallout game? For argument's sake, we're going to be calling it Fallout 5. Now, it's very, 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 very early to be talking about any future Fallout game, let alone Fallout 5. I've talked about this in the past, that the next BGS Fallout game is probably not going to come within this decade, and it's a shame because we're Fallout fans, we want more Fallout games, and while we don't necessarily care whether it's BGS that makes it or another studio like Obsidian maybe, we still want to see a Fallout game from BGS. I personally still think that they have a lot left in them. I still think that they do exploration incredibly well, but regardless, this is just a discussion video. It's not meant to be taken more than that. It's not based on rumors or speculation. Fallout 5 is going to be coming for another 10 years, so let's not read into this video too much, alright? Let's just have a discussion about the potential future of the Fallout franchise. And what I wanted to talk about is my view that with the next Fallout game, Bethesda Game Studios should really go back to its roots with the Fallout franchise. I know a lot of marks out there will say its roots for Fallout 1, it was Fallout 2, and to an extent Fallout Tactics, but what I'm talking about is the beginning of Bethesda Game Studios Fallouts, with Fallout 3, and to an extent New Vegas as well, because people like that. Of course, as we all know, Fallout 4 changed a lot of things with the Fallout franchise, and for better or for worse, the game did fundamentally change from what the previous games were, both Fallout 3 and New Vegas. And Fallout 4 has become such a polarizing game. I mean, so much more than Fallout 3 or New Vegas ever were. You can still find people that don't like either of those games, but when it comes to Fallout 4, it seems when you look on the internet and hear people talking about it, there's either people that like Fallout 4, or there's either people that really don't like Fallout 4. There's not really much in between. I'm sure there is, but the point is that it's a very polarizing game, and partly that's because of all the changes Bethesda Game Studios took with the game. Now, I still enjoyed Fallout 4, right? I still think it was a solid game. I wouldn't put it above Fallout 3 in terms of my personal favorites, even though that's based on nostalgia, but even me as someone that had fun with the game and that enjoyed it and thinks it's a good game, I can't deny that there were a lot of things changed from the tried and tested and true formula of the Fallout franchise. And even quickly going down the list, you know, you had the addition of the voice protagonist, you had the removal of skills from previous games, you had the complete overhaul of the voice dialogue system, especially where there were only 4 dialogue options at every speech point, and also as well, the full text of what you said wasn't shown, it was only a brief summary. Major RPG mechanics were also dumbed down as well, because you could essentially keep playing that game, continue to level up, and get every single perk, whereas with games like New Vegas, you were essentially forced to specialize into particular skills, into particular perks, and overall specific playstyles. Yes, I need to admit that Fallout 4 did change a lot of things from its fundamental formula, and whether it changed it for good or for worse is for another discussion, but the point is that it changed a lot, and it disenfranchised a lot of Fallout fans. Some Fallout fans that liked Fallout 4 presumably were okay with these changes or were indifferent with these changes, and people that didn't like Fallout 4, presumably the reason why they didn't like Fallout 4 was because there were all these changes. And it's also my assumption that even the people that liked Fallout 4, if those changes weren't made to the voice protagonist, to the RPG mechanics, to the skills, etc., they probably still would have liked Fallout 4, right? I think they were still forgiving fans, they just wanted to play a Fallout game, enjoy it, and they probably would have enjoyed it either way. But unfortunately, those changes were made, and the Fallout community is so divided at the moment. Anytime you try and talk about Fallout, there's always this kind of animosity as to whether Fallout 4 was a good game, as to how much people don't like Fallout 4, as to how much things changed, etc. I mean, when I'm streaming games that aren't even related to Fallout because my community is Fallout based, but especially when I'm streaming a Fallout game like Fallout 3, every single time the discussion comes up whether people thought Fallout 4 was a bad game or not, the discussion discussion always comes up, especially when I'm streaming, as to how much people don't like Fallout 4. And again, you go to any other discussion on the internet about Fallout, and in particular Fallout 4, the exact same things are seen there, and we just didn't really have that before Fallout 4. Really, in the build-up towards Fallout 4's release, the community was much more happier, they were excited, they were hyped for the game, but even before Fallout 4 wasn't even released, and it wasn't even a thing, we weren't even really thinking about it, I just don't remember the Fallout community being this disenfranchised. I don't remember the Fallout community being this split. Yeah, there were still discussions as to whether Fallout 3 and New Vegas were better, for instance, but in my mind, the discussions weren't really about whether each game was bad. I think generally people were of the opinion that each game has their positives and negatives, but overall, which one you like just depends on your preferences. If you like the style of older Fallout games, you would tend to lean towards New Vegas. If you like more exploration and the direction Bethesda was taking the Fallout franchise, then you would lean towards Fallout 3. But with Fallout 4, all that's thrown out the window because it's just arguments about whether the game is good or not in the first place because so many things were changed. And this is why I strongly believe that even as someone that enjoyed Fallout 4, the next Fallout game, let's call it Fallout 5, needs to go back to its roots, needs to undo a lot of the changes that it made and just get this community buzzing about the franchise again, try and get this community back together. Because right now, it's not in the best state. It's rather negative, unfortunately, and I hate saying that as a longtime fan of the Fallout franchise. I just want to see people love the next Fallout game. I want to see people enjoy it. I want to see positive discussions. I want to see the mod community really thrive. I just want this community to go back to the way it was, and I think the best way to do that is if BGS were to say, you know what, with Fallout 5, we're not going to make so many changes. We're not going to keep experimenting like we did with Fallout 4. We're going to try and go back to what Fallout 3 was, and also as well what New Vegas was as well, even though it was a different developer, just to appease Fallout fans and bring them together again, because as I mentioned earlier in this video, I think that people were either indifferent to Fallout 4 or still liked it regardless of its changes. I still think they would have liked Fallout 4 or continued to be indifferent to it, or maybe even liked it and not become indifferent to it if all of those changes weren't made. If Fallout just improved on what it did with Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas. So even if Fallout 5 goes back to its roots, I still think that people that liked Fallout 4, that didn't mind the changes, would still love that game, and then you would start to bring back the fans that didn't like Fallout 4 because of all of those changes. And also as well, I still think you'll attract the general audience that has come because of Fallout 4, because remember that Fallout 4 was Bethesda's most successful game of all time. Now, it was never clarified whether that was talking about pure unit sales or revenue, but certainly more people have picked up Fallout 4 than they did Fallout 3 or than they did New Vegas, but I don't really think the game was as successful as it is, specifically because BGS made those changes. They quote-unquote dumbed it down, if you will. What I mean is that I don't think more people bought Fallout 4 or would buy Fallout 4 just because it now has a voice protagonist, and just because the perk system might be easier or more streamlined than previous Fallout games. I think the reason why the game sold well was purely down to Bethesda's marketing. They marketed the shit out of Fallout quite successfully, and to be honest, that in my opinion is the main reason why the game sold well, not because of all those changes. So even if Bethesda Game Studios would revert back to what Fallout 3 and New Vegas were known for, so long as they have the marketing department behind Fallout 5, it's still going to sell well, and then you have the added bonus of winning back all those disenfranchised Fallout fans. But if they continue with the changes that they made in Fallout 4, yes, you might keep on board casual fans, yes, those people that still liked Fallout 4 will probably still like Fallout 5, even given all those changes, but I think that'll only further push away other fans of Fallout, and then we'll continue to see this conflict in the Fallout community. Those that are still talking about the game, that is, those that are still modding the game and making videos and discussing in comment sections on YouTube and Twitch, for instance. So anyways, Wastelanders, I just wanted to make that video. Let me know what you think about my thoughts. Do you disagree? Do you agree? I'd love to debate with you in the comments below. And until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourself, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.